Welcome back. It is Wednesday, September 18th, and the MLB 5 picks on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday. A 2-2 day. We started off super strong. Brent Rooker cashed in the first inning. We had our parlay of the day cashed. And then you got to our late picks. D-backs, Rockies over 11.5. The D-backs could not do anything. You told me the Rockies put up 8. Say, all right, we got a winner. No chance. The D-backs scored 2. Yankees, Mariners under 7.5. Logan managed to pick Brian Woo's worst start. So that's fun. You can't do anything there. Whatever. Who projected Woo to get rocked by the Yankees? But 2-2 today, certainly not the worst thing in the world. We got 5 picks today. Let's try to go 5-0. Later today, we'll have a couple videos posted. The first one around 12 p.m. noon Eastern time will be Logan and I talking through every single Sunday NFL game, as well as Monday Night Football, where there's 2 games. So you can definitely tap into that. Also, later tonight, we'll have our Thursday Night Football video live as well. So you can definitely check out our picks for Thursday Night Football, which is obviously tomorrow. But you guys came in for some MLB picks, and we need to deliver 5-0 sweep. That would be awesome. We need it. Let's dive in the first pick of the day. Parlay of the day. It's back. We hit yesterday. I said yesterday was one of our most confident parlays we've had, and it cashed. We need another confident one. Today's will be plus money. Go tap into it. It'll be live in the pinned comment and description. Go check it out. Parlay of the day is back, and we're getting on a heater there, going for 2 in a row. Let's dive into our first key pick in this video, though. It's going to be a Blue Jays and Rangers. Give me the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings, minus 125 on BetMGM. Now we're facing 2 offenses who just went berserk yesterday. You looked at that final score, 21 combined runs. Each team had 13 hits. I mean, it was a massive, outpouring of runs yesterday. Now the full game total dropped from 8.5 down back to 7.5, 8-ish on some books. I'm going to fade both these offenses. Let's talk about Cody Bradford, who starts for the Rangers. Now, I don't normally like backing righties against the Blue Jays because they're pretty good against right-handed pitching. We saw them rock Evaldi yesterday. However, that's not the case here. Cody Bradford is a lefty, which is good for us. And on the road, Bradford's been pretty bad, but at home, he's been very good. A 2.57 ERA and a 0.78 whip at home. So he's been dominant, a 174 batting average allowed. Toronto has really not been great against lefties the last 4 they faced. Max Fried went 7 scoreless. Chris Sale went 6 scoreless. The only one they hit was David Peterson, as we know, 4 innings pitched, or 4 1/3, 4 earned runs. And the Chaminade went 6 2/3, 1 earned run. So they've been struggling against left-handed pitching. Bradford, we just talked about, he's been really good at home. I think he come out here, give us a reasonable, decent start. If he gives up 1 or 2 earned runs, we can afford that. We just can't afford, a 4 earned runs like David Peterson gave up. I think he pitches pretty well. And he's also coming off a terrible start. As I said, he pitches bad on the road. He was in Arizona his last start, 8 earned runs. I imagine he's more locked in here. I think he pitches well. On the other side will be Bowden Francis. Now, it's hard to find a pitcher that's been more dominant than Bowden Francis over his last 7 starts. We know he's had multiple no-hitters going into the 9th inning. Typically gives up a solo blast there. But his last 7 starts, a 1.5 ERA. Second or third lowest in the majors, behind only Framber Valdez and Chris Sale. And his 101 batting average allowed is definitely the lowest allowed in the majors over his last 7 starts. He has been insane. And while, sure, he could come out here and some regression could come, I don't think Bowden Francis is that good, a 1.5 ERA and a 101 batting average allowed. But this is a Rangers offense. We talked about him. One game they look great, like they did yesterday. The next game you see poverty. And that's been the Rangers all season long. While they did get 7 off of Chris Bassett yesterday, only one of those runs was earned, so they had to rely on some errors. Hopefully the defense is a little bit better for Bowden Francis. We know he has the strikeout pitches, if that's what it comes down to, but he's also been able to induce some soft contact. When he had his most recent no-hit bid going into the 9th, I think he only had 1 strikeout in that game. So a lot of soft contact. Hopefully he can get that from the Rangers today. Shouldn't see a ton of Ks because the Rangers don't strike out a ton, but they will swing at the pitches in the zone, and hopefully he can pitch pretty well here. So I like the under 4.5 in the first 5. Don't hate the bullpens, but both bullpens were used a ton yesterday. I'd rather not get into the bullpens. That's sometimes when you see fluky things. Give me the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. But Logan, I'm throwing it to you for your favorite pick of the day, and you got a pitcher prop. Who you backing tonight?
Yep, for my favorite pick today, it is a player prop, and I'm taking Tanner Bybee of the Guardians over 16.5 outs, minus 115 odds on Fanatics. Yeah, so this is a player prop. I feel like anytime I've picked player props, they've been pretty good this year, so hopefully we can continue that. Bybee, he needs 5 2/3 innings pitched for this one to cash. For all intents and purposes, I see him going about 6 anyway. If he ends, on 16, then it was just a weird read. I really do think Bybee has a strong showing in this one. In his last start, he don't look sharp. And why do I know that? Because I backed him. Unfortunately, I took the Guardians' first 5 run line. He allowed 8 hits, but he still went 6 innings pitched in that one, which is big because all we need is outs props. He could give up 4 or 5 earned runs. I don't really care. You give me 6 innings in this one, That's all I need from Tanner Bybee today. And when allowing 8 hits, a lot of pitchers don't even make it far into the game. So we like to see that he struggled through that one. Today, Bybee faces the Twins. He's over this line in 2 of 3 games against them this season. He's been lights out against Minnesota. 1 earned run in each of his last 3 starts, and they're only hitting 214 off of Tanner Bybee. Those are numbers that I feel really good about, especially when you face a divisional team and a divisional opponent. There's a lot of familiarity there, but given the sample size, Bybee, knock on wood, has been really good. I mean, the numbers were there for Woo yesterday, but I won't talk about that. The Twins are only hitting 214 this month against righties. So again, they're not exactly scorching hot against right-handed pitching, and we know how important that is because they stack a bunch of lefties in that lineup. That's sort of been Bybee's more weakness this year, but I mean, the fact that they can't really hit righties is giving me some confidence that Bybee will have success. Also worth noting, Twins 30th in walk rate over the last 15 days. Why is that important? Well, if you're not walking, you're normally not running up pitch counts, and that means Bybee can go a little bit deeper into this game with not a great pitch count. And then we go to kind of the situational game that the Guardians find themselves in. Gavin Williams only gave them 5 innings yesterday. The day before that, Boyd only gave them 2 2/3 innings in that one. So their bullpen has been leaned on a little bit more than I think they want. They probably would have wanted 6 from Gavin yesterday, didn't get it. I really think they're going to try to stretch Bybee for 6+ innings in this one. It's just kind of like bullpen management. They used some bulk reliever. Yesterday I think Eli Morgan out of the bullpen. So it's like one of those. They might let Bybee struggle through it, even if he doesn't have his A+ stuff. I still think they're going to say give us 6, and we'll roll with that. With a 4.5 hits allowed line for Tanner Bybee after allowing 8 in his last start, I think the books are kind of pricing this as a bounce back outing for Tanner Bybee, and that's definitely how I see it in this one. Give me Tanner Bybee over 16.5 outs. Love that as my favorite player prop of the day. But Austin, you got a couple more picks. Wrap up the video.
Yeah, I'm going to an early start. And we're going back to the scene of the crime. If you know, we're going to the D-backs, and I'm just taking their team total over 5.5 today at -130 on FanDuel. I was glad to see a 5.5 line. I didn't want to take a 6.5 team total. Well, I think the D-backs might put up 12 today. Because yesterday they did nothing for me. If you know, if you watch that game, it was painful. The Rockies were doing their job. D-backs would get guys, leadoff double, stranded every single time. Yesterday they went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The one hit was an infield single that didn't even move anyone. So really they went 0 for 11, could not get any timely hits. Today, I'm running back because I think they put up at least 6 runs today. I don't know if the regular full game over hits, but they're trying to avoid getting swept by the Rockies, and they can't afford to be swept. So I think the bats show up today. And yesterday, they also gave me arguably their worst lineup. Austin Gomber pitches for the Rockies. Great first name, but a 4.44 ERA and a 1.28 whip. Not great. He's been about average both at home and on the road. His last 4 starts at home, 4, 5, 3, and 2 earned runs. So he's given up nearly half of what we need today. The 2 earned runs, sure, was a pretty solid outing. He gave up 9 hits, 1 walk to the Cubs. They just couldn't get that big inning or that extra hit with runners in scoring position. Which sure, if the D-backs want to go another game without getting the timely hits, fine. But Gomber allowing 306 batting average with runners in scoring position, so not a spot he's been very good in. And he's pitched against the D-backs a good amount, 3 times this year, twice early on in the year, once recently. In those last 4 starts, once last year, 6, 4, 2, and 2 earned runs. So they've seen him before. They've done some damage to him before earlier, I believe about a month ago on August 13th. They only got 2 runs on him. I think it was 6 hits, but they all see him pretty well. You look at the guys against Gomber, Ketel Marte, who for whatever reason, we didn't feel like starting him yesterday. He's batting .381. He pinch hit. He'll be in the lineup today. Christian Walker, who's been red hot in his career in Colorado, he's batting .400 versus Gomber. Josh Bell, the new acquisition, .364. Same as Corbin Carroll. McCarthy's 3 for 5. Peterson's 2 for 2. Moreno's 2 for 4. All guys that have seen him and hit him pretty well. You look at the D-backs on the season. First in batting average, second in OPS, and third in WRC plus versus left-handed pitching. They've been a team that's seen lefties really well all season long. They need a win here, and while I think they win, I'm not laying -160 on a bad starting pitcher in Eduardo Rodriguez and a bad bullpen. Instead, I asked them to put up 6 runs in 9 innings. I certainly think they can do that. Rockies bullpen, brought in some guys I hadn't really seen a ton yesterday. They looked pretty solid, but again, they have some bullpen arms in there where, let's say the D-backs get up. Let's see, Eduardo gives them a good start and it's 4-1. They're not going to use their good bullpen arms. They're bringing the bad guys with the 7.5 ERAs, and I really think they could tag on some runs on anyone there. Like I said, yesterday they had plenty of chances. They just could not get the timely hits. Trying to avoid a sweep here. I think they at least lock in and hopefully get those timely hits for us. Give me the D-backs over 5.5 for team total. And then my final pick is going to be an HRR prop. I'm rocking a Red Sox jersey because it will be a Red Sox. It is not Rafael Devers. It's the guy that probably bats right behind him or 2 spots behind him, Masataka Yoshida. Give me his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. -110 on DraftKings. Now, I would not probably take Masataka's over in bases. Yoshida's not really a guy that typically gets, doubles and home runs and things like that. If he wants at a home run today, please go for it. But there's just a lot of opportunity here for Yoshida, who is going to likely bat cleanup tonight for this Red Sox team. Now, yesterday, if you backed the Red Sox in any capacity, you kind of got wrecked as their offense was terrible. Their 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 hitters all went 0 for 5. And we were talking about Duran, Devers, O'Neill, then Yoshida, and then you had Wong all going 0 for 4. So obviously they didn't get a lot going on Shane Baz, but now they'll get Ryan Pepiot, and I imagine that offense is going to we'll see some hits out of that top of the lineup. And I liked what I saw from Yoshida yesterday. Sure, he went 0 for 4, but you look at the balls he put into play. No strikeouts, 4 balls put in play at 95, 100, 90, and 90 miles per hour. So had hard exit velos, just didn't find the gaps. I mean, of his 4 hits, 3 of them had a 380, a 670, and a 390 expected batting average. So you'd anticipate at least one of those drops, if not 2, but they all resulted in an out. A little unlucky for him, but I like his spot here to bounce back today. He's been pretty good recently, and he'll face Ryan Pepiot, the righty. You look at Yoshida, he's batting .316 off right-handed pitching this year. If there's something great about Yoshida, 96th percentile whiff and K percentage. Not a guy that strikes out a lot. He's putting the ball in play, and when you put the ball in play, typically good things are going to happen. We don't get anything if he strikes out, but if he puts the ball in play and maybe it's a soft ground ball and there's a guy on third, maybe they can tag. Wouldn't shock me if Duran gets on base and steals and gets into scoring position, and maybe he's hanging out there for Yoshida when he comes up batting cleanup. I think there's a lot of different things here where we could see a decent matchup here. Pepiot is a guy that relies on the strikeouts. When he's not getting them, 25th percentile barrel percentage, 19th in ground ball percentage. So, and you look at him, he struggles against lefties more than righties. So I like the spot here for Yoshida. Finally, we'll dive into the pitches that he will see. Pepiot, 2 lefties. He throws 47% four-seam, 29% changeup, 15% slider. The four-seamer is his best pitch by far. It's a 167 expected batting average, a 34% whiff percentage. But if he's not getting those whiffs, he might go to the off-speed stuff against Yoshida with his changeup and slider, and those are 2 pitches that he's been actually giving up a good amount of hits to. And Yoshida against righties, 314 batting average versus the four-seam, 333 versus the changeup, and 370 versus the slider. If you look at Pepiot's number 1 pitch for put away, it is the slider, and that's obviously Yoshida's best pitch to hit. So I think we see plenty of chances here. Obviously, we got 9 innings to hit here for the Red Sox. Should see Yoshida have plenty of opportunities at the base to get up to plate, maybe 4, hopefully 4 at least, and then maybe 5 if we're lucky. And the other team, the rest of the Red Sox are hitting the ball around. Final note: when he gets a runner in scoring position, Yoshida typically capitalizes. Batting .310 with runners in scoring position, that goes to an insane .425 when there's 2 outs. So I like Yoshida's matchup a ton. I like the other guys in front of him, Duran, Devers, O'Neill. Maybe those guys can get on base or at least move over the runners into scoring position. And I think Yoshida can absolutely come through here with a hit. Maybe gets a run, maybe gets some RBIs, maybe gets a home run. I don't know. We'll take it any way we can get it. Yoshida, I love his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So those are 5 favorite picks of the day. We'll recap them right here. Number 1, parlay of the day. Check it out. Should be live in the pinned comment and description. Number 2, we obviously have my under in the Rangers and Blue Jays game, under 4.5. We have Logan's pick, Tanner Bybee's over and outs. Then we have that pick where I talked about obviously Masataka Yoshida, and then final one, D-backs over 5.5 team total. Those are 5 picks. Let's have a 5-0 day, and we'll see you back tomorrow with some more. And when we do have our NFL videos live, I'll link them on the screen. Go tap into them, see what we like for NFL Sunday in week 3. I'll see you guys in the next one. We're out. Peace.